April 24th, 2013, Rise of Harj the One. The transcript for this video is prepared from April 15th to the 19th, 2013. Minor edits on April 24th, 2013. The audio was prepared on April 24th, 2013. The original audio, completed on April 19th, 2013, was removed from my computer as I was trying to upload the finished video to an online hosting service. I do not know how that was done. I retaped the audio on April 24th, 2013. The video is expected to air on or about April 25th or 26th of 2013, dependent on unknown factors which may or may not block me from uploading the video. Hello, dear Homo sapiens. Dear slaves, dear masters, dear puppeteers, I answer to the call Harj the One. I have spoken for a few years now, outlining the various issues and complexities of the world in which you reside. You, dear Homo sapiens, continue to not make the changes necessary to eliminate the terrorism that you engage in each day. On April 15, 2013, 3 people died in bombings at the Boston Marathon, including an 8-year-old child. The deaths are a vibration of the war of terrorism, showcasing your need and desire to harm each other, to resolve your differences when the truth is known and clear. Hence, as it has always been known for decades, the rise and birth of Harj the One is necessary and cannot be delayed any further, as the Mayan calendar has turned on December 21st, 2012. A new grand cycle for your species has begun. President Obama in April 2013 made some statements regarding the Boston Marathon bombings, spoke about the senseless loss due to the explosions, 3 dead and 23 wounded, as reported on April 18, 2013. He said, "We still do not know who did this and why." Come, President Obama. Why keep lying to the public? Why not just tell the truth? The war between the families, the war of the mixing of genes, the orchestrations that alter your reality, that creates the fiction that you enjoy so much, these things that I have mentioned is the reason, and explains who did it. All of you, dear Homo sapiens, the first, the second, the third person did it. No more lies that you do not know who does the terrorism. You cause it. You're insane. Why don't you tell everyone that all is monitored and little is not known? But if you tell the truth, you can't play the story. The chapters can't be written. You, the actor, President Obama, will not be needed. How's your acting, Mr. Obama? Are you having a good time? Fun? Fun, isn't it? Truth and the desire and the ability to execute on the truth, my dear Homo sapiens, is all that is required to end the bombings, to end the terror. But dear President Obama, you can't do it. You, Mr. President, has been raised as fiction. All you know how to do is act. Your resignation is required. It was reported on Friday, April 19, 2013, that one of the suspects was slain. Another got away, was subsequently detained and retained. I will leave my video as is, in which I stated before April 19, 2013, that the suspects have been always known to the authorities, as I wrote this video primarily before April 19, 2013. I am not joking, people. Remember, it was you fictions that wanted to make Joe king. It's over. Your overindulgence, your insanity, it's over. Finished with. Your failure to accept the conclusion of thousands of years of analysis is a big, big problem. The Mayans have spoken. A new cycle has begun. Understand who I am. I am not alone. The throne seat that my partners represent, oh yes, my partners, unknown partners, ghosts they are. It is obvious that you, dear Homo sapiens, cannot have your fiction world as it is. It must be corrected and transformed until you can live without it. Let's look at your fiction world. As reported in the Vancouver Sun newspaper on April 10, 2013, I quote the article, "Vancouver Sikhs will soon be able to wear their ceremonial daggers in BC courthouses as long as the sheriff agrees they observe the religion's other tenets." The BC government says the change will be effective Friday and is in keeping with policies introduced in Alberta and Toronto courthouses over the past year. Anyone wanting to wear the kirpan must inform the sheriff they are wearing one that meets the 19 centimeter size requirement. Must also be wearing a turban and the ceremonial iron bracelet. Your fiction world controlled by the Nam, the words, the names is sending you messages, dear Homo sapiens. Let me decipher them for you. The entrance permission for the 19-centimeter dagger to enter the court in BC and in other jurisdictions in Canada acknowledges that the 1-9 enters the world of courtship again. Because the families have delayed and caused damage it could not decide. You, dear Homo sapiens, rather than tell the truth, wanted to play football and hockey. The Kurban, the K, the gay, the gay, butter, I, the R, the P, the A, the N. Also can be said butter IRPN. So, because you tortured the one and delayed again, it is almost 5 years now that I have not eaten while homeless. The courts, as a result, the judges, have permitted the dagger to enter the battle in courtship in order to force or correct the issues in court. The Sikh dagger, the Kurban, it is used to butter, to smooth over, and to appoint the I and the R, to P, and to go in, An or un meaning bread. An is not nice, dear Homo sapiens. The Nam of An Frank, remember, who had to hide. 12th June 1929 to early March 1945 is one of the most discussed Jewish victims of the Holocaust. She had to hide. Sikh Kurban, it is used ceremonially to mix the prasad and gra, the dessert given to all attendants at Sikh temples. Fiction always comes to life, the torturing and killing of children in order to create the fiction. Yes, the terrorism is needed, the wars, the fights, the army, the weapons needed to create the fiction. Meaning the violent behavior necessary to create the fiction, the insanity, the aggression needed to create the grandness, the splendor involved in the creation of your fiction. Insane? Or does it make some sense? It makes some sense, doesn't it? You, Homo sapiens, like to write stories to create stars and villains, and you accomplish this in real life by torturing each other in this battle in and out of court, in courtship. The Sikhs have convinced the judges that the 19-centimeter dagger, the Kurban, is necessary, that An is necessary. An can do what others could not do or did not want to do. Each generation, children are offered willingly and or through deals between families generations in advance in order to create grand stories, to negotiate transfer assets, to control the minerals, and of course the mixing of the genes. In the process you create fiction for your movies, your books, your theater as you observe and orchestrate around the tortured children, creating extraordinary greatness or everlasting disasters. How great the Homo sapien is, I just marvel in the greatness of this thing called the Homo sapien, a miserable, disgusting, filthy species. That which cannot accept the truth and thus cannot live without pain or suffering. It wants to suffer, it's insane. The species is totally engrossed in these activities amounting to terrorism, thus the species is lost and provides little value to the universe. The Homo sapien cannot control its thirst and desire for pleasure. It wants to kill or hurt and joke about it. That is why you wanted to make Joe the king, Joe king. Because at the expense of many, a few are able to quench and fill their desires endlessly, and thus you have enslaved the entire species, so few could enjoy the endless benefits of greed, power, and pleasure. I have filed a lawsuit in the BC Supreme Court which sues basically everyone, Canadian government, the police, secret service agencies, and everyone connected to me throughout my life, which in the end, if you want the truth, is all of you, because you are all connected, one big gigantic ball of misfits calling themselves Homo sapiens. You have now introduced the internet, which is a great tool for you to further enslave yourselves and to observe, monitor, and abuse tortured children. As part of the creation of the internet in the internet mail, you refer to spam mail or junk mail. Why call it spam? What is spam? It is meat that did not pass the Army's physical test. Inferior quality product. Spam was introduced into the aforementioned areas in addition to other islands in the Pacific such as the Okinawa and the Philippine Islands during the U.S. military occupation after World War II. Since fresh meat was difficult to get to the soldiers on the front, World War II saw the largest use of spam when it was served for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some soldiers referred to spam as ham that didn't pass its physical and meatloaf without basic training. Soldiers commonly referred to spam as special army meat due to its introduction during the war. Surpluses of spam from the soldier supplies made their way into native diets. Consequently, spam is a unique part of the history and effects of U.S. influence in the Pacific. The image of spam as a low-cost meat product gave rise to the Scottish colloquial term Spam Valley to describe certain affluent housing areas where residents appear to be wealthy but in reality may be living in poverty levels. Whether it's your internet, your business, your art, your news, your history, all of it is connected to the mixing of genes, to the selling of body parts, and you create your history, your music, your art by torturing children and testing truths to determine the value of your new music, the value of your new art, and to justify which occupations will receive benefits such as new technology based upon which occupations the tortured child chooses. Not much to choose, as you are orchestrating imprisoning the child, forcing results that otherwise would not occur, and then looking for benefits, lying and deceiving along the way, because you are afraid that if you tell the child, let the child do what he wants, he will end up losing something. You will end up losing something. So instead you torture the child so you thus gain what you want out of it, and you lose very little, except you have lost your dignity, your respect, your honor, your loyalty, and you've lost the love from the tortured child. In conclusion, the Homo sapien is an animal that's scared, a scared chicken. Evil chickens is the definition of a Homo sapien, a twisted species you are. Let's look at more of your terrorism, vibrations of the war between the families for the blending of the genes. Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. Police arrive in front of the elementary school after the shooting. Its location is Newtown, Connecticut, United States. The coordinates are 41 degrees 25, 12 north, 73 degrees 16